Welcome back to Midco Sports Magazine. Well, sometimes sports can be a shelter in a storm for a new kid trying to fit in. And for a young refugee from a small country in Africa who made his way to Fargo, North Dakota, basketball has been a blessing. Here is Brian Shawn.
On senior night at Fargo South, the cheers from the stands for Menkeh Mendin are some of the loudest of the night. Mendin's journey at his high school is nearing its end, but his path to this point started long ago. He immigrated to the United States from Liberia when he was just 5 years old, a transition that was not easy.
Going to school with white kids compared to not even going to school at all in my country back home was very challenging. And when I came here, all I was with is my family, so I never knew the outside world. After living in Minnesota for a few years, his family relocated to the Fargo area. As he acclimated to the community and tried to figure out where he fit in, the soccer field was a place Fargo South coach Dave Weiler took notice, and Menkeh knew he belonged.
And it's always interesting when the freshmen come for that first day of tryouts. And there's some kids who stand out and some kids who don't, and he's always been one of those kids who has always just kind of stood out in the crowd. And that's kind of the way we got to know him. There was Nepalese, there were Somalians, there were people from Congo, American people, everybody joined in the same group playing soccer. And everybody was just accepted. So that really made things more comfortable for me to get to know other people. Menkeh has excelled in his time as a Bruin, a four-sport athlete on the field, track, and court. He's also an ambassador for the high school and was even up for Homecoming King. But what makes all these accomplishments surprising is what he's had to endure away from school for the last year and a half, after his mother moved to Minneapolis and his father back to Liberia. He and his brother, also a student at Fargo South, have had to support themselves, living on their own.
It is really strange. You know, here's a 17-year-old kid that I'm having conversations that you would be having with most adults. I mean, he's talking about going out and going grocery shopping, going out and you know, having an alarm clock, and all the things that, you know, I take for granted that my parents did it for me. I do it for my kids, and he didn't have that. To live on your own, it's like you don't have your parents coming at your game every day. You don't have your parents picking you up from here to there, or telling your dad, "Hey, Dad, can you drop me somewhere?" And I didn't have that. Me and my brothers didn't have that. We had to do all of that, ride bike and walk wherever we need to go. It's been very challenging.
Menkeh's schedule keeps him busy. When he's not at school, you can find him working at Sanford to pay the bills, which can mean some long days and having to miss some practices and even some competitions, like the state cross-country meet last fall. Working is the hardest part. Filling out your schedule, filling this out, knowing what's your schedule like and putting it all together. Sometimes I have to miss practice, but I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do to support yourself sometimes.
Seeing that the hours he puts in and just the dedication he has for everything that he does, it just really impresses you and just kind of pushes you to be more like him.
But Menkeh has not been forgotten by his coaches, teachers, and teammates. Several families and friends have stepped up to help, providing him with meals, money, tires for his car, and other necessities. The efforts of many that have provided a system of support he needed.
He's been put in a situation where he has to grow up pretty fast. And so our family, and along with a lot of other families, you know, at Fargo South have tried to provide some guidance and some stability to him.
You know, after practice with his car, sometimes he'll have 6, 7 kids in his car giving them rides home. It's just him. I mean, hey, you need a ride? Hey, I'll help you out. So he's willing to give back just like he's given.
As for the future, Menkeh is already setting some lofty goals for himself, hoping to capitalize on the life he's built and run his way into the history books.
I know if I go there, start it off small, keep building on that, I can someday become one of the best runners from North Dakota. That's what I want to be. That's my goal, to become one of the best runners in college from this state.
When he gets into a place where he can settle in and be comfortable and not feel like he has to worry about some of these other things that he's had to deal with in the last 18 months or so, that he's going to really thrive, not only in the classroom, but probably on the track.
In a school and in a community with several families working through difficulties and challenges, Menkeh believes he is proof that the American dream can happen for anyone.
The situation Menkeh's in is one that a lot of kids at South, I would say, are in. And I mean, I think when people see him, they see that, I mean, really there's always a way that you can find your way out, and there's always a way that you can just make your situation the best it can be. And
I feel very proud about it. Not many 17-year-olds do this. Most of them have their families at home and they live with their family supporting them. But I've done it, and I can prove that anybody that goes through the situation, so long you have somebody on your back supporting you, a community, a family, that's not your biological family, but they're behind you, supporting you, knowing that you can succeed. Just keep pushing. You can make it through.
And joined by Brian Sean in Fargo. And Brian, everybody is eager to help out Menkeh in any way they can, and not just at his own school, right?
Yeah, that's the one thing you hear from coaches at Fargo South and some of his fellow teammates and students is even when he goes to Davies, the parents there seem to know him. He goes to West Fargo, a lot of the parents there, he goes into the stands and meets some of them as well. So, you know, he's really become kind of a fan favorite wherever he goes around the community, and it's been really kind of cool to see different schools and different teams and even some different parents from a lot of those schools stepping up to help him when he needs it.
All right, thank you, Brian Sean in Fargo. Thanks for watching. You can find every episode of Midco Sports Magazine on YouTube.
This has been Midco Sports Magazine, presented by Shields and Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.